Hi, everyone. This is USGamer here at E3 2014. I'm Jeremy Parrish, and with me, all around me, are...
Jazz Rignall,
Bob Mackey,
Cat Bailey,
Mike Williams.
And we're here to talk about the first day of E3, the press conferences. So, guys, who won E3? No, just kidding. That's a stupid question. But what were your takes on the press conferences? Like, were there any that really impressed you or really disappointed you? I think that's the more relevant question.
Well, the first three sort of blend together, and it's sort of a melange of guns and Tom Clancy and Assassins. So it's hard
The first three being...
Oh, sorry, that would be EA, Microsoft, and Ubisoft. Ubisoft had some good trailers, but there were a lot of samey games at those conferences. So I feel like Sony was the standout of the conferences this year.
I think Microsoft really played it safe. They just sort of, I think they felt that they just wanted to get through E3 without kind of any controversy. But they had some solid games. EA and Ubisoft, decent, but really, just didn't feel like they had a lot to say. I mean, we knew a lot about their products already, really.
Kat, Mike?
I was really happy with the Nintendo press conference. I think Splatoon actually looks really good. I mean, Mario Maker is a kind of a fun take on the series. Most disappointing is easily Electronic Arts. I was really expecting a lot more from Battlefront. Their signature game is Battlefield Hardline, and I'm just not that excited about cops and robbers and explosions and SWAT teams. It looks like some people were saying on NeoGAF. I remember when this used to be a mod, and I kind of agree.
I'd say Nintendo and Sony were probably stronger press conferences, but for me, Microsoft just saying, hey, let's do Phantom Dust and Crackdown again was enough. Like, it was a nice punch for me. Whereas I don't feel that I got the same thing from Sony or Nintendo's conferences. And that's just a preference thing, not what they showed. But Nintendo did have Splatoon, which looked really fun and really innovative. So I'm looking forward to the stuff. But if you had to say a winner, Microsoft for me.
Yeah, I felt that Microsoft, maybe their stuff was kind of predictable, but that's what we needed this year because last year was such a misfire. They just kind of needed to get back on track this year. And they showed a lot of games, and there was a lot of diversity. It wasn't a lot of first-person shooters, and there was actually less stabby violence than at Sony's press conference. So it was nice to see, and there are some games there that I'm actually really pretty excited about, especially Crackdown. But I definitely enjoyed Nintendo's stream. There were just a lot of games that were very original, like very different than what everyone else is showing, and that made me happy. It's that's what I come to E3 to see, is that sort of like, oh, I wasn't expecting that. That's a surprise. It's nice that someone's still bringing that. Are there any single games that you've seen so far that you're really like genuinely excited about that you can't wait to play more of?
I want to play Grim Fandango again because it's very hard to play now, and now you can understand why all of us nerds can't stop talking about it, thanks to Sony. So, yeah.
No Man's Sky, I mean, that just looks incredible. I don't know actually whether or not it'll be a full game because it just seems so ambitious, but damn, that just blew my head off. That was incredible.
Star Fox. Oh, wait, they didn't show it at the Nintendo press conference, but I'm sure they're going to show it later. No Man's Sky looks incredible. I love the idea of procedurally generated planets that I can explore, and I'm really excited to play the new Zelda. I love the lush overworld. The new style looks really great. It's so colorful. I love that colors are coming back into games again, where we've moved away from the sepia tones.
I'm the open world guy, so I'm going to say No Man's Sky again, Assassin's Creed, because that's my thing, and open world Zelda was everything I want from... I mean, I thought Skyward Sword was disappointing, so the idea of an open world Zelda is just exciting to me.
Also Cuphead.
Oh, yeah,
Cuphead. Yeah, that was a weird one, but interesting. For myself, I'm really looking forward to seeing, what is it called now? Yoshi's Woolly World. Because it looks like tactile and gorgeous, but also they said, there will be new stuff here, which was sorely lacking in Yoshi's New Island. So that's exciting. And also, I did get to do some hands-on time with Destiny, the Destiny Alpha, and I'm really looking forward to playing more of that. I guess the beta comes out next month, so I'm excited to see more of that.
Little Big Planet. Little Big Planet. I'm really excited for that. I mean, it still looks a bit wobbly control-wise, but I mean, it just looked incredible.
Right. Well, any final thoughts before we head into the proper show?
Oh, wow, I have to go first. Final thoughts. E3 looks, I personally think, exciting this year. There's a lot of games out there, like even small indie games like Cuphead or No Man's Sky. And there's a lot of big games that are trying like new things, like Zelda. So I at least think now that the systems are out, they're getting a chance to really explore what they can do. So I'm looking forward to seeing some of that stuff.
I mean, there are certainly games that have stood out to me, like No Man's Sky, but for the most part, it seems like business as usual, which I kind of wasn't expecting. If you look back at this time in 2007, when the last generation of consoles was just getting started, a lot of really amazing stuff was coming out. Call of Duty 4, Mass Effect, BioShock, and I'm just not seeing it this year. I'm not seeing something that really pushes the generation forward, and I feel like that kind of concerns me going forward. I'd really like someone to really kind of grab the bull by the horns, I guess, and just push forward the medium.
It's an interesting show. I mean, I think last year was all about the hardware with a little bit of games. This year it's all about the games. And, like Kat, I think, this is more of a sort of a generational segue rather than a big leap forward. But we haven't seen E3 proper yet, and there might be some interesting stuff on the show floor. And definitely, you're already getting glimpses of it like No Man's Sky. So, I think it's going to be a really great show, that's for sure.
Well, most of the conferences did a good job of hiding the most interesting looking games, so I'm interested in actually going to the floor and finding these games and seeing what they are. So that's what I'm doing today.
And for myself, I don't know. I thought it was interesting that everyone seems to be done ripping off Uncharted, and now they're kind of all ripping off Monster Hunter instead. There were so many games that have that Monster Hunter thing, and the Monster Hunter concept is so interesting, and it's never really taken off in the U.S. So I'm curious to see where other people take that kind of concept of teaming up and fighting big things together. Like cooperative play was definitely a big, big factor this year at E3, and I love co-op play, so that's pretty exciting to see. So on the whole, I feel personally more positive about E3 this year than I have in quite a while. So it's nice to see. It's a good change of pace. Anyway, we're about to hit the show itself, so I think we'll sign off for now. Keep your eyeballs tuned to USGamer.net, where we write about video games.